Hello, everybody. Happy 2020.
Whoa, 2020.
Woo. It is your girl, Lauren Reed, right here on Witchcraft Age Radio for the Lauren Reed Live Show. And as always, I have my co-host, my co-pilot here with me.
Yes.
Jay the Gentleman is in the building, everybody.
What up, everybody? How you feeling?
I'm tired. Well, I always say I'm tired, right?
Yeah.
And I should stop doing that. But I am.
Yeah,
So,
you had a long week. Grandma came out for New Year's.
I came out for New Year's, everybody. Believe it or not, doing duty calls.
Yeah.
I had to go out. But I ended the year off on a really high note.
Good.
But it was a lot of work.
Shout out to you because you just got a house.
I became a homeowner.
You got a house. I don't know.
And I was
what's
a
that,
really,
but
bam, 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 bam.
yeah.
There you
got
go.
a house.
I got a house.
So good for you.
So, and I did it 2 days before Christmas, which was dumb. So if you ever decide to buy a house, don't do that. So I went to closing on the 23rd, and basically that entire week I was like little moving stuff, and then at the end of the week we did the big move. Shout out to my family. We did. There you go.
There it is.
We did one big move, and we got everything done in one trip.
Yeah, you had to let go of some shoes, some kicks.
It's very hard for me, but yes, I donated some stuff.
Shout out to that person who got a new
I know,
wardrobe
right?
over
Got a new wardrobe and new footwear for me. But yeah, so it was a busy holiday.
Yeah.
Because then, the family comes, Fee and the kids are here.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, I always tell people I'm super family orientated. So it's like trying to catch up with me during the holidays is like,
Forget about it. But that's I feel like that's for like a lot of people too.
It is a lot of people.
Now, let's link up when you're in town. It's like, nah, that doesn't work.
But it doesn't. And then it's just like the holidays like heightens it.
Yeah.
It's like you have to be with us,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So when I was like, yo, I gotta work on New Year's Eve, they're like,
Right.
the tragedy. What do
Right.
you mean? So I'm like, I gotta go to work.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, everything was good.
I mean, we all were technically working.
We were all technically working. But see, they don't look at it like that.
No,
They like, oh, you're getting dressed up to go to a party and go drink and have a good time. I was like, I want to be in my robe. Like, I want to be home.
Like, honestly, if I wasn't getting paid that night, I wouldn't have worked. I would have been at the crib chilling.
Yeah, like I was like, it's not as
looking at my horoscopes.
I was like, listen, I did 2 takes with my shoes on. After that, Hector was like, you do know I can shoot you from here
Yeah.
up. I was like, let me go grab my Uggs.
Yeah.
I was like,
You could have wore sweatpants and like, who would have known? Who would have cared?
Exactly. But no,
Next time.
But it was a good ending to 2019. Actually, all of 2019 was really good.
I didn't have no problems with it.
It was a couple ups and downs. It's like your normal stuff. You know what I mean? But overall, I think we had a really productive year.
Yeah.
Shout out to the entire Water Ice family.
That deserves that.
The Water Ice Radio family. I mean, we did big things this year.
Yeah, and it's on to bigger things.
Oh my God.
This year.
I'm already tired.
So that's why we have these guests today.
Y'all don't understand. Like, I'm so excited about this because I think I know everything about astrology and stuff. Like, I'm like, oh, what sign are you?
Yeah,
you ain't going not my match. You know what I mean? I'm that girl, right?
Right.
Like, what's your birthday?
Meanwhile, you got off Yahoo. Like, you got off Yahoo.
But I'm totally right because all right. So I'm about to tell a secret.
All right.
So as soon as I meet someone, right, I ask them their birthday. I am immediately going to a compatibility like site and putting their sign in with my sign.
Isn't this the norm though?
It probably is, but I don't tell people out loud. You know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, this is not going to work, but let me see what happens. And then a month later, it's like, yep, the site told me you was going to be a dog.
I feel like, especially women, they have a research and develop team. Like,
absolutely.
Like, what's his name? All you need is a first name, and you have everything you need to know.
And that's one of the, but for me, silently and privately, that's one of the first things that I do.
Yeah.
And even if I decide to go through with it or not, due to their sign, like people are like, "Oh, you're so ridiculous." I'm like, "No, some stuff is serious."
Yeah.
Like I look at all categories, like how are we compatible financially?
Yeah.
On a friendship level, passion, blah 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 blah. And
It's
I'm
all
like,
connected.
I'm at work like,
X.
And then I'm going down this rabbit hole.
Yeah.
But okay, so we just gave it away. But go ahead.
So basically, I've been wanting to have these ladies on the show for a long time, but I just wanted the perfect time. Since it's the new year, it's a new decade. Mm-hmm. I think it's only right to have this kind of subject for today.
Yep.
Talking about astrology and all things that comes with that.
Yes.
As well as something a little different. I know you're a little.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah. Talk a little witchcraft. I know some of y'all might be like, witchcraft?
We'll talk about that.
But we're going to talk about like just the misconceptions of that.
Yes, I really want to dive into that because, look, I'm transparent on this show. When he first told me, I was like, no.
Yeah.
I'm cool on that. And you were like, no, it's not what you think.
It's not what you think.
Let them come on and talk about.
I've had several drunk conversations with these ladies over the years at different events.
I'm like,
shout out to Melissa. That's pretty much how I met Jaws through Melissa. She's she used to be a guest on our show. So we have life coach, comedian, what else?
She said astrologist. She also said spiritual coach.
Spiritual coach, yes.
That's your spiritual coach.
But I can spiritual coach you if you want.
Life coach.
Yeah. Life coach. Meditation. They have wear many hats. Comedian,
yep.
Singer,
songwriter. So we have Danielle and Darienne on the show.
Hey.
Thank you. You just made us like one person. You're spiritual coach and
I think as the show goes on, they're gonna distinguish the two.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's what's gonna happen. And if not, that's okay.
We're all totally one. Fine. Yeah.
So we're all the same anyway.
Let's get the
awkward. All one anyway. Yeah.
See, that's where we're going.
That's where we're going.
We're all connected.
All right, I like that. So let's get the awkwardness out the way.
Yeah.
All right.
Can I please? Can I? Do you mind? Go ahead.
Yeah. So let me open it up. So. I've watched several seasons of Charmed.
I'm officially an expert on witchcraft.
I took it back.
American
season or old season?
Old season, old school.
Okay, right.
American Horror Story Coven.
Right, old school Charmed.
All right, Melissa
Milano Charmed, where her sister in the first half of the series was Shannon
Doherty
from 90210.
What she did on 90210.
Right.
I did the same thing, just left.
But she was great on Charmed.
She was great on Charmed, and then they got the other sister on
McGowan.
Yeah, with the red hair.
Yeah.
All right.
Also a pop culture expert over here.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. And I'm just going to be honest. So people hear witchcraft and they get super scared. They think spells and, the witch with the
craft.
The craft on the mole on the nose and all that stuff like that. Halloweenish.
Witch of the West.
On a broomstick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
that cackle.
Yes.
You can do that.
I can do that.
Can you do the cackle? And from someone who comes from a spiritual background, religious and spiritual background, they tell you in the church all that witchcraft stuff is like all of the devil. You know what I'm trying to say? So I think that's the first thing people hear, and they immediately go to that, right?
Yeah.
Tell me why it's not that.
Okay, well, first of all, one, I want to say first off the bat, if any witches are watching, I do not speak for all witches.
Okay.
First of all, so I'm going to say that. So my beliefs are aligned with many witches, but not all.
Okay.
So that's one thing. Another thing is that it is my spiritual practice too. I am very spiritual.
Okay.
It is my church. It is so sacred to me. It is so important. And what I think people don't realize, especially today, because there's such an awakening of witches now, is that saying that is witchcraft evil is the same as asking a Muslim, are all Muslims terrorists? And people don't really get that it's like, it really is. I understand that like some of our, religions might not seem to correlate, but we all are human. We all can be all inclusive. So that is one thing that it can be a bit of a struggle managing through that. So before I started saying I am a witch out loud, I was a light worker. I was a meditation teacher. I was a spiritual healer. I am still all of those things.
Okay.
I do the same thing I was doing when I was doing the healing work. I just call a spade. It's witchcraft.
Right.
So what was that defining moment for you when you decided to come out per se and saying
like fuck it?
Yeah. Well, it was tough for me. Actually, I started to kind of intuitively hear the call of witchcraft. Like I would sit in meditation and I would just feel an interest towards it. And I had those same things. So I'm Catholic. So I had those same things of like, oh my God, is this evil? Am I going to go into something that's dark? Like, I don't want to do any of that. That's not who I am. That's not what I represent. Like I represent love. I represent unity. I represent, healing and all of that. So it was a struggle for me, but I got to the point when I started to really read the history of witchcraft, and that in almost every civilization and religion is the craft. Even in Christianity, in the history of it, there is the craft being, in one way or another, being performed. Yeah, and so I realized what it really is, and I was like, everything you just started off with is such a misconception. Wow. Like it's really just BS, to be honest. And I thought the same thing though.
So can you give us like a layman's term definition of what witchcraft is?
Yeah. So essentially, if we talk about like modern, let's say like a modern witch is basically just a conscious creator, somebody who consciously takes a hold of their life and sets intentions for what they want to create in their lives. And most of the time, not always, because there are atheist witches, but most of the time it's connected to their spirituality. There are Christian witches, there are all sorts of, there's Hebrew witches, there's all sorts of different religion witches, but that's basically, in layman's terms, how I could describe it.
So you just said something that was really like stuck out to me. You're like someone who wants to create and take over with their life, and I'm like, isn't that all of us?
Exactly.
To a certain extent? So it goes back to what you just said. Yeah. We're all one, right? Yeah. So I think that was a great way to kind of like define it and to help me with the misconception because I totally had that misconception. I apologize.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
No, but I get it because last year I kind of went through a refresh of my spiritual walk and my religion and was very concerned about what people would think about me going through that change. I grew up in the church and with my family, but I kind of reconnected my life again. But I was very scared to put that out there. So I kind of just felt where you were with that and kind of just not being like scared to put that out on the table because we all are together with that, which whatever God you decide or not to serve, you know what I mean? So that helped me out a lot. So thank you, Darienne. I appreciate that. Yeah. So Danielle, talk a little bit about what you do as well, as far as, we said life coach, but you said a different name on top of that. What did you call it?
Confidence coach.
Confidence coach. That word is amazing. So confidence. So what does a confidence coach do?
So essentially for me, same thing, right? We wear many titles, but it's all about, for me, it was that defining moment where I realized I had permission that I could lead my life the way that felt good to me. That moment that I started to tune into whatever this is inside of you. Like we all have that voice, that like, we hear. Some people call it intuition, some people call it higher self, some people call it God, where there's something inside of you that's encouraging you, that's telling you you're on the right path, that's saying like, go here, do this. And I think because of the way that many of us are raised, society, etc., projections that are kind of always swarming around us, we have all these expectations around how we should show up. And just because we should show up a certain way doesn't mean necessarily that you have to or you ought to. And so when I kind of started to have that realization that I could listen to that voice inside of me, that I could do something that was outside the box, that I could do something that was outside of other people's expectations, I found more happiness and I found more fulfillment. And I found from that space, I was kind of through finding that voice within, I was granted permission to do something that felt really soul aligned to me. And then from that place, you can't help but have confidence. And so a lot of the work that I do is allowing people to show up as they are, who they are, and to allow them the space to really understand how to express that. And then from that place, start to show up more confidently.
So confidence is a very bold word.
It is.
And is it more confidence in who you already are as you are, or is it confidence in making tweaks and changes?
A little bit of both. So I look at confidence like a muscle more so than like I am confident. Like you can be, sure, but I can also be a bunch of other things too. So confidence is more of a practice that we build and we'll always be building our entire life. And so confidence is taking ownership of who you are as you are. I could be having a really shitty day, but I could feel really confident about it, right? And there's power in that. Showing a lot of people too, when they think of the word confident, I have to be confident. I have to be on video. I have to be extroverted. I have to be really bold. I have to be the center of attention. That can be confident, but it may not be, actually. Some people may be doing that as a form of insecurity for all we know. So confidence for me is about finding a way to be authentic and continuing to show up in that authentic way in a process that serves you. So if you're very quiet and introverted and you have a lot of like hobbies and things you like to do on the side, you're a writer, you can be very confident in that, right? So it's like, what is it? So I look at it more as a way to kind of describe your ownership of how you live your life as opposed to this kind of bold extroverted thing that you have to be or step into, because that may be awkward or uncomfortable for people to try to be this like expectation of confidence.
So one would ask you, okay, so Danielle, what makes you an expert in what confidence looks like, or qualified per se to be a confidence coach?
Sure. I mean, I'm not really into like credentials, so to speak. But like, I mean, you could look at my training, you could look at my background, but honestly, it would really be like what allows me to do that is the people that just keep showing up and saying, hey, Danielle, can you help me? And I say, sure, let's do this.
Let's do it.
Say less.
And see where they go from there. You know, I mean, I think my actions and the time, I've been doing this almost 5 years full time now. And while I do have tons of training under my belt, it's really about that energy, that synergy of, Danielle, there's something that I feel like is about you that reads confidence to me. Yeah. And I know there's a part of me that can have that too. Where can we go from here? And that's really my ownership. And that's why I think I'm good at it. And until there comes a day where people stop showing up and saying, can you help me with this? Then that means, okay, cool. Like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I think your online presence shows that too. Like, that's what draws people to you and says, oh, like, show me how to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's kind of like our credentials.
I'm
these
glad
days.
you said that. Like, yeah, I mean, because both of y'all have really great like online presence, whether it's YouTube or Instagram or whatever websites. And can y'all just tell really briefly how y'all are connected?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Do you want me to take
I know
that
there's aspects in astrology that has to do with witchcraft, or am I wrong? Or
Sure.
Well, you started off as an astrologer. You've been an astrologer since we've known each other, which has been like 5 years now.
Right. So astrology for me was the gateway, because I initially wanted to start off as a confidence coach, to be honest with you.
Okay.
But my confidence wasn't really in check.
You had to get there.
Right. Like, I found personal confidence, but then when it came time to like out myself as a coach.
Okay.
And this was, around like 7 years ago, where coaching wasn't as like, again, it's becoming more aware, even just like witchcraft, right?
Oh, yeah,
like life coaching, it was kind of the same thing. Like, what is that? Blah, 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 right? And so,
which is huge, like now.
Now,
everybody's a life coach.
Yeah, everybody's a motivational speaker. It wasn't like that.
And so that's why I did the qualification question, because not that I don't think you're qualified,
for sure.
but it's just so many people
Everybody
following that trend,
right.
and you're and I mean they're getting big checks for this, like they're going in front of.
We should talk more about. So we met each other 5 years ago. We did Gabrielle Bernstein's Spirit Junkie Masterclass. And it was the first of that kind, and it was really like one of the first waves of like the spiritual life coaching. It was before there were spiritual entrepreneurs, really. And we were just both, I guess, I was on a spiritual path, and I was like, I want to be able to do inspirational talks. At the time I was doing a lot of like youth empowerment groups and things like that. And I wanted to be able to really, my thing, I was like, I just need like a certification that say that I'm qualified to do what I'm already doing, But of course I got so much more from it. And since then, I think we've both have had tons of training and experience in growing our own business. And, we've coached online, thousands of people.
Yeah.
Wow. So we've had a ton of experience, but there are people that do come in the game and they jump on and they're like, I'm a life coach too. And you're like,
people always say,
sounds
like,
trendy.
such a good listener.
Yeah, it sounds trendy now.
Let's even unpack what coaching is, right? Because coaching is not, you come to me and I'm going to give you advice and I'm going to tell you what to do.
Right.
That's the worst thing.
That's the last thing. It's so cringy.
Right. Like coaching is about intuitive listening and holding space for someone, really listening to them in a way that's outside of normal listening, so that you can ask them the right questions to lead them to their own personal.
It's almost like therapy.
I'm about to say, I was just going to say that.
It's not like therapy.
No?
I'm going to say.
No, I think therapy,
it's not.
Therapy is a lot of who you were.
Okay.
And a lot of
that's good.
Right? Therapy is like, who were you and how can we
and coaching is who you're going to be.
Coaching is how do we get
and
you
it's more
we know nothing.
No, that's why they're here.
Yeah, I'm glad that we're clearing all this up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, of course, it's like you can, weep to me if you feel the need, you know, but I'm like, okay, let's do something about it.
Right.
Like I'm not just going to be a place for you to vent, because that's not proactive.
Productive.
How can I take my life, take into my hands and do something about it? That's where I coach.
Right.
Exactly.
That's where I'm like, okay, let's do something.
And an ideal coach, like a lot of my clients, we don't work together for more than 4 to 5 months, and that's great, because and if they come back, it's only because they're coming back because they're ready for the next level.
Right.
Whereas with therapy,
some people, lifers.
Yeah, some people see that I've been seeing my therapist for 10 years. Yeah. It's like, well,
what have you changed?
Right? Like,
are you better?
Right. Right.
Not that therapists
again,
therapists
I go to
bad.
therapy.
me too. I'm a therapist.
Therapy has its place. Like I would never. And also too, if there was a client that came to me and I felt that therapy was the better fit.
Okay.
That's really important as well. And that's
Right.
why I think having conscious training around life coaching is really important, as opposed, because it's not regulated by the government right now. So technically anyone can be a life coach.
Yeah. And it's so important to tell people that just because you are a life coach, you are not a therapist. It is so I deal with a lot of, I come from a world of, I had depression for a very long time. And so I get a lot of people who are prone to depression, addiction, things like that. Trauma.
Yeah, trauma.
That's not I can be an alternative sort of medicine to your to your therapy, but I make sure every single one of my clients give me their therapist's name and number and I let them know if I need to call, this is what I would call them for.
That's so important.
It is so important. And if it's over your head, it's okay to say it's over my head, and I am not an expert in this.
I appreciate that so much because we live in this age now where, again, everyone's
an expert.
I saw a meme on that, so
right, and I'm an expert in everything, and completely leading these people possibly down into the wrong path and onto a spiral. Do you know what I mean? And so that's so important that you are just like, no,
I
that's
take
why
it
we're
very
connected because we both have that value system where we've seen many other people in our community that don't.
Same with the energy healing. People are very irresponsible in the energy healing
even
community.
More so. Psychics and
so like I know you said earlier there's been like a kind of like an awakening of like witches, and even more even with astrology, people are starting to get into that too.
Oh, totally.
It's like becoming almost like an industry.
What do you
almost?
All right, so it is.
Oh, it's beyond an industry.
So how? What do you think? What do you think was the cause of that? Like people are all of a sudden.
You remember Miss Cleo?
I mean,
you take it.
Should I
for both, I guess.
I think it's a little bit of two things. So for me, I also have a background in what's called Kundalini Yoga, which is founded on the principles of the Aquarian Age. So have you heard of the New Age?
Yeah.
Okay, so in the 1970s, right? There were
remember the 70s, like the Beatles.
Oh yeah,
That's the 60s.
Yeah, there was that
transcendental
like
meditation.
I got you.
Aquarius.
Okay.
Yeah. I got pop culture trivia too. Don't get it twisted now.
All right, good.
Yeah.
So they were called the New Agers.
Yeah.
And what was happening is the New Agers were starting to kind of take on these metaphysical and spiritual principles and practices to get us ready for what is known as the Aquarian Age, which started allegedly in 2012. Remember in 2012 when there was like
the world was going to end.
Yeah, the
Mayan calendar ended.
Correct.
So when the Mayan calendar ended, what happened is we entered into what's called the Aquarian Age, which is something that will be in for about 2,000 years. 2,000 years prior was when the Piscean Age started, when Jesus popped up and was like, hey, everybody,
I'm your guru.
I'm your guru. And so now in the Aquarian Age is all about technology.
I'm pretty sure he did it like that too.
Right.
Who wants to just chill out and pray?
What's up?
Want some wine? Boom.
Yeah.
Fish?
Boom.
Yeah. What do you think of my calf?
Yeah.
Resurrection?
My abs are lit though, right? He had the best abs.
Yeah, he does, and he was hung apparently.
I was gonna say I don't want to offend anybody, but I'm pretty sure Jesus was a witch.
I mean, him up on that crucifix.
Son of God. Son of God.
Yo, wow. Okay.
We just took it there. We took it there.
I love it.
I always say I'd swipe right for Jesus. Like, who's this dude?
They were jealous.
Philadelphia.
They were jealous.
Okay, so Jesus jokes aside. So the Aquarian Age is so what the New Agers were preparing themselves for, right? And now that we're in that, it started in 2012. It was all about the guru isn't outside of you. You are actually the guru. You are the one that has answers. And so to find those answers, you'll need things like meditation, spiritual concepts,
energy healing, techniques,
astrology. And how are we going to get that out into the world? Well, technology. So the boost of technology is allowing us to have access to resources within the spiritual realm that we really didn't have before. It was more secret. It was more like you had to go to a sage. There were certain documents that
still kind of taboo.
Still taboo, right? Like I remember when I was younger going to the library and like hiding in like the New Age section, being like, I don't know what this is, but I know I love it, but I also know it's kind of weird and secret to other people, so I shouldn't talk about it with anyone. Whereas now we've opened up the doors, and I think technology is a big piece of it. And I just think energetically, when I look at trends and I look at the Aquarian Age, I think that plays a part in it. So that's kind of my thought process around where a lot of this is going.
So we're going to take a quick break.
Sure.
We're going to breathe for a second.
Yeah.
And then when we come back, I want to get into what everyone wants to talk about, like compatibility with their signs and stuff. She's like all excited.
Yeah.
Darienne is like, yes, let's
see
get
the tarot
into
cards
it.
here.
Yeah, right?
We're about to get into it.
We're going to really get into it.
I love it.
And I'm just excited. Are you excited?
Yeah, that's why I'm here.
I need to find him a wife.
What? Why? What?
Okay. All right.
Why? What?
All right,
we're
totally pulling cards on that.
Right. So we're starting.
We're doing it.
Me? You're the one that wants to get married this year.
I do.
Okay.
All
right.
I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I'll try to manifest things.
Can I just get a second date? Can we just get a second date first?
Listen, that's witchcraft.
Listen, me and Jay have been friends for years now, and I just seen this and I'm just like, listen, it's time. At least we gotta get someone on the roster. That's what I'm trying to do.
I'm always down for that.
She has decided.
Yeah.
Someone on the roster for Jay in 2020.
All right.
Consistent roster. Like, yes.
I'm like, what are you talking about? My roster's
You have a roster, but I mean, like,
my roster is full.
I mean, like, I want to see someone on a
cuffing season is over.
A consistent basis, you know. You know what I mean? Like, we got Heck wifed up. Now we gotta get you.
I'm the next project.
You're next.
Oh my God.
All right, everybody. It's your girl Lauren Reed right here. Lauren Reed Live. We will be right back. Everybody, it's your girl Lauren Reed right here. What Ice Radio, and we have Darienne and Danielle in the building, and we are already having fun.
Yeah.
We have a confidence coach. We have an astrologist, singer, comedian. Talk about you guys being comedian and singer too. We're gonna add that in.
Oh yeah.
We'll just do that a little bit later, right? But before we went to break, we were kind of talking about like the history of all this stuff, and we got some misconceptions out of the way. So now we're done with that stuff.
Yeah.
Really quick question before we move on. We talked about psychics, and we talked about being an astrologist. What is the difference, if there is a difference?
Yeah. So I'll do the psychic, you do the astrologist. So psychic is basically just somebody that is intuitive. Some people would consider themselves born psychic. I think everybody's born psychic, but you kind of learn to stop listening to yourself. But an actual definition of a psychic would be somebody who's clairvoyant and sees visions in their head. So just like you just get a picture of something that could happen, you get a symbol, something like that. Some people are clairaudience. They hear.
That's me.
Yeah, they hear. Sometimes I get a little bit of that. And some people are empaths. I'm also an empath, so I can feel people's feelings as if they're my own. And that would be.
That has to be deep.
It's tough.
It's tough.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to do. It takes a lot of. That's why I had to learn all this stuff.
Right. Okay.
The energy healings, because I had to learn how to separate my energy from other people's.
Okay.
So that is the psychic realm. That's basically what that means. And astrology is different.
Right. So astrology, I mean, again, I do think if you need, it's helpful to have some kind of intuitive psychic ability to enhance that. And but with astrology, essentially what you're doing is you're reading a chart. So what we're doing is we're assuming that all 12 signs, Aries, Taurus, all the way to Pisces, they're in a circle, 360 degrees. And we want to imagine that they live underneath our solar system. And it's almost like a game board. So every day, the sun, the moon, and the planets are moving around this game board. They're moving around all 12 signs, and they're moving at different paces. And so when you're born, we go back in time and we take a screenshot. And we say, okay, where was the sun this day? Where was the moon? Where were all the different planets? And then an astrologer will sit down and it will look at where the planets are, where the signs correlate, the different harmony and connections that they make to each other, and be able to start to decipher things. Now, me being an intuitive, I'm able to take it a little bit further. So while I'm looking at someone's chart, I'm also getting messages at the same time. So two things are happening. I'm reading their chart while also reading their energy. So it creates a really cool synergy, which I do believe most astrologers do, but not all. Some claim that they don't even want that. They want to be like, no, I am only an astrologer. That's
Same with the tarot. So the tarot, you could either just learn the tarot and read the cards and not be intuitive, and some of people are like that. And I sometimes do a little mix, like if the card is there, it's there. And then others will do, what I do is I'll read the tarot card and then I get the visions and then I'm picking up on everything.
All right.
Ready?
Yeah.
So you ready?
I'm ready.
I'm a little nervous.
I'm not nervous.
You want me to look at the charts first?
Yeah, let's look at the charts first.
Explain what we're doing right now.
Okay, so as I mentioned, we're taking a screenshot of where the cosmos were that day when you were born, and then from there we're starting to look at your personality. And we look at your personality from who you were, what your soul intended when you were born, karma, good, bad, ugly, and then also how it relates to present day trends, right? We match your chart to what today's chart is, or tomorrow's chart is, or the rest of 2020. So if there's a specific, I can give like a quick read, or if there's a specific thing, like you want me to focus on love?
No, you can just do it.
I want to do it. I don't want to do it. I want it all.
I was also going to say.
Or do you want me to do hers?
For Lauren, we should probably suggest the actual sites you should be looking up that are really good. And also it's important to, like, when you're looking up people, like, is he compatible? Yeah. Are you just doing sun signs? Or are you doing sun, moon, and rising?
Which
you're probably not.
No, you didn't know your birth time until today.
You could do Lauren whatever she wants.
You can have a good takeaway here.
Well, we know for sure we're going to do love for Lauren. Love is really important to me.
Okay.
What's your current status?
Yeah, what is your current status?
Complicated as shit.
Complicated.
No, technically, yes, I'm single. I'm dating.
Okay.
But I'm dating with a purpose.
Of course.
And that purpose is to
get that ring.
I want to be married.
Okay, yes. So that's great. You have the purpose, you have the intention. you're a really fun person to date, right? Like you know how to have a good time. That's awesome. Where we would love to see you open up more is in the space of like you're actually very soft and very feminine and you have very high standards.
Look at your face. I'm like, I am.
Yeah, when it comes to love.
She does have high standards.
See, this is the thing. This is the thing. Like you operate because of the Aries, like you operate like all business. Here I am. This is what I'm looking for. This is how I show up in the world. But deep down, there's this really luscious, soft side to you that wants to be taken care of.
I agree with that.
And so when it comes to a relationship, if you're not feeling like your heart is being taken care of, then it's not giving you
any fulfillment at all.
So you're Taurus. So her moon sign is Taurus. Her Venus is Pisces. Her Mars is Scorpio. So
I don't know.
So essentially, like, yeah, a guy can show up on paper and be able to give you X, Y, and Z materialistically, but that's cool. But at the end of the day, it's like, how are they showing up and being like, no, this is how I'm taking care of you emotionally? And really starting to open up to that and being really like clear around like what you're looking for in that way will really help you. This year also though is going to be really great when it comes to work. There's a lot of success coming your way. You just have to keep taking it like day by day and like be really like solid around like what your expectations are as far as she's having her Jupiter return. So essentially like this is a year of more expansion, more prosperity coming your way.
I'm with that.
He was waiting for that.
I'm with that.
Yeah.
But really, so, and then when it comes to like finding someone, so when we look at compatibility, like you're a fire sign. So we look at the elements, right? Like this is the best way to do it. So fire sign goes really well with air signs. Okay. Water signs go really well with earth signs. Now we can look at our sun signs. That gives us a little bit of a clue if we're going to be compatible, but our sun sign, that's where the sun was when you were born. So what day are we talking right now? What's today? January 5th?
5th.
So if someone was born today, they would be a Capricorn because the sun is in Capricorn.
Okay.
The sun sign is all about our masculine, who we are in our day-to-day life. Cool. It's good to know if you're going to be compatible with someone like that.
Right.
But what I want to know is, are we going to be compatible behind closed doors? Are we going to be compatible when the lights are off, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
And so for that, we want to look at our moon sign. We want to see where Venus was when we were born. So like when you were born, Venus was in Pisces, which is a water sign. And so like I really feel like a Taurus man.
And very sensitive,
Very sensitive, yeah. So
Tauruses are I dated
No. Pisces.
Pisces is very sensitive. Yeah, not Taurus.
Okay. I was gonna say I dated a Taurus for a very long time. We actually were engaged at one point, and I thought we were just always going like this, but it was my longest relationship.
So there is something there.
So
what month? What? Pisces?
May.
Well,
okay. Pisces is
March,
right?
March
So that's where her
March.
Venus is.
Got it.
What does when you were born have to do with the reading?
Right.
How does that work out?
What do you mean when?
So you asked me.
Time.
Time.
So time is related to what's called the rising sign. So people may talk about their ascendant sign or their rising sign. So that's where the sun was along the horizon when you were born. Our rising sign is the first impression we give to the world. So for you, your rising sign is also Aries.
Okay.
So you're very much like, I'm here. Let's do the thing.
You were born a month early.
I was born a whole entire month early.
She was ready to come out.
You were ready.
Yeah.
You were ready. Let's do this.
Yeah.
You're the Kickstarter, right?
Yeah.
And so what happens is our rising sign becomes what's known as our first house.
Okay.
And then from there we have what's called 12 houses, and each house has to deal with a theme in our human experience. So when I look at your relationship house, it's actually in Libra. So you do relationships a little bit like a Libra, which means that sometimes you're not quite sure what you want because you think you want to show up as that like strong, independent woman.
Right.
But again, there's that part of you that's also able to
I
just
can so
be
see that. I can so
vulnerable
see that.
and taken care of.
So let's be transparent. So that is me. Like I am very about business here. You know what I mean?
Sure.
In career mode and business mode. But yes, behind the scenes and relationships, I don't have to be that. I don't want to be that. So I need that person to step up and be that.
Right.
And I think that's the biggest thing that I'm always missing. So in a lot of my relationships, I've always been the fixer or I'm the person taking care of someone, in all different ways.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just want someone to take care of me. So when I'm out in the world, I can be boss bitch all day long. But when I come home and I close the door, I need someone to take care of me.
It also seems like you don't want somebody to take care of you in another sort. Like he could step over some boundaries, and you're like, nah, I can take care of myself, but emotionally, I want you to take care of me.
Oh yeah,
in different ways.
I think we've talked about that before.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
I'm not the girl that's like, I need you to buy me a Balenciaga bag. I'm not that girl.
No.
And I'm gonna be very honest. Like you know, my parents, they always did well by us. Like we had nice things and stuff like that. So I was already good there. It's a more of an emotion, like you said, like when you said that, I was like, yeah, that's it. It's more of an emotional piece type of thing, a partner in that ties. Like I don't really need the fight. Some people need the financial or the things.
Sure. Yeah, and that's fine. Yeah. And I think for you, it's starting to develop a practice though of noticing when that moment comes where you could be the fixer to say, I'm going to lean back.
Right.
I'm not going to fix this. I'm not going to be the one, and especially not just for in your relationship with someone you may be dating, but with the people around it, because that's blocking you from the.
So what about friendships? Do you guys? I mean,
people never really ask about that.
I know.
No, just me. All right.
You know what? Sorry. You know what? Because friendships are relationships too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They're very important.
Are our 11th house, so that makes sense.
Yeah. And we were also talking about how business relationships tend to like shadow our other relationships. Like we get kind of the same, like wherever we have an issue in a relationship, it's going to show up kind of everywhere.
Okay.
You know?
It's true.
It's like how you interact with people.
What about health? Do you guys talk about that?
Sure. What do you want to know about it?
Do you want me to pull cards?
Am I going to die this year?
Death card comes
up.
I mean,
I got a couple more years left.
Health-wise, you're solid right now. Things are steady. You just got to know your boundaries, take care of yourself, not overwork.
So I'm going to, I think I talked about this when I met you guys at the party, that we had another show on before, and they had a life coach on who revealed herself as a psychic as well, right?
Yeah.
And she freaked me out. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of like came off guard.
It
like,
came.
You knew what we were.
You were coming to do
everything.
And then and it wasn't even my show. Like I was engineering that show, and she kind of like stopped to talk to me specifically. You remember that, Hector?
Yeah, like
and I was crying. I was like really, I was like upset or whatever.
It's like Long Island medium style.
Exactly.
I've been seen
something like something exactly like that.
Just coming through.
Yes.
But again, one of my another secret is that I'm always very, very anxious about my health. I'm always like, am I good? Am I not? Oh, I feel a little something in my neck. Is it cancer? Like I'm a little bit.
I'm tired.
She's 6th house Virgo.
Yeah. Can I pull cards?
What's that word?
You keep talking.
When you
hypochondriac.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, Virgo is in your 6th house of health, which Virgos have a tendency to be a little bit over OCD, a little bit more like hyper obsessive about things. So
right.
That's
so
interesting that your health.
I'm all about going to the doctor. Like I'll sneeze the wrong way, and I'm like, urgent care, please.
Right.
Like I'm not. I don't play with that type of stuff.
Sure. But you don't. You also don't need to. You're fine.
Cool.
But
I appreciate that. But I do want to get more. I will say this. I know everyone says, I'm going to get more healthier. I, in 2019, gained more weight than I've ever gained in my life between going to events.
Oh, my God.
Stress eating, just being out, trying to be more social.
Right.
And I was like, these pounds is weighing a sister down.
Yeah. Now the LBs for sure for myself
you
too.
feel it?
Especially toward the end because there were so many events.
We were going to so many stuff and with
like
all
most of the food was really good.
Yeah.
And also I was telling someone the other day, like my
season.
family, like we do everything. We are very close knit, and everything surrounds food.
Sure.
And it's like, all right, so who's getting together? Mom, you cooking? Who's cooking? Or whatever. It's surrounded. And I'm just like.
What's that meme? It was like when.
If I eat another.
No, like when you're doing the prayer and it's like when the family's praying for nutritious and food.
But everything is going to give you a heart attack.
Salt, sugar, like it doesn't make any sense.
That's my family. All right, she has these cards out, guys.
I just pulled some tarot cards.
Oh, okay.
God.
So
I'm
don't be scared.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
You
to
have Philly
fear.
tarot cards, which I think are cool. But go ahead.
It's another thing that tarot cards are not of the devil either. So just know that.
So you have these cards up. Can you explain?
So I have these cards up. The first one you were talking about health, and I was just kind of asking questions as you were talking, and then I did just a quick little love read. So with the health stuff, you got the Emperor, which is an amazing card. That's like just being the ruler of your life, being really in your power.
Okay.
You got the 9 of Cups, which is a sense of satisfaction, like wishes fulfilled, and then you got the 3 of Wands, which is really looking out to the horizon to what you want to create. So as far as this pertains to your health, what I saw was the same thing. Like there's nothing wrong with you.
Fine.
You were saying like you kind of indulged a little bit, and that's like the 9 of Cups, and there's nothing wrong with it at all. I think it's just maybe just the way you're looking at it. And what I sense is that if you could develop a health regimen that was really satisfying to you,
Okay.
indulgent in a way that was healthy but also indulgent. So like
still juicy.
Yeah, like maybe you eat a piece of dark chocolate once a day, which is actually really good for you, but you're more conscious about it.
Okay.
But it's like indulgent, right? Like little things like that, or even like joining some sort of a workout regimen that doesn't feel like work to you. It feels very much you, like very much like it's for you, but like juicy,
like luxurious, like
absolutely
health.
Right. I was doing a kickbox cardio class, which wasn't really traditional. I would call it more like a hip hop cardio class.
Okay,
and it was like good. I'm big on music. I'm a huge music person,
Mm-hmm.
so it was always good music playing.
Should take what's her name's dance class.
I know, right? And I was excited to go.
Yes.
Like we did it every Monday and Wednesday.
It felt like an activity more.
Yeah,
than
it was
than
routine.
exercise.
It was more of
Yeah,
that.
more of
Okay,
that.
cool.
Yeah. And focus on, like, with the Three of Wands, I feel like you getting a plan of indulging in your workouts.
Okay.
Like, it has to be like, I'm doing this because I love to do it and because it's just like real juicy and it makes you like, it's almost alluring to you.
Okay.
And if you can plan that out, that's going to work really, but there's nothing, like, this is a great read in your health. There's nothing to worry about.
But what's that bottom row talking about,
So
sis?
this is
I see the magician there.
that. Yes, exactly. So this is your love sector. We've got the Page of Wands, the Eight of Wands, the Two of Pentacles, and the Magician. We pulled the Two of Pentacles earlier. So the Page of Wands is great, like especially when you're talking about relationships.
Okay.
It's basically just like new passion. Like it's like finding somebody new.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's you probably will meet somebody new. The Eight of Wands is about two things.
Okay.
It's fast moving, so this could be something that starts off as a passionate connection that moves quickly, but it's also the communication card, so the communication could be really good.
Okay.
With the Two of Pentacles, it is a little bit of a balancing act here. So when I ask what should we do with that, you get the Magician card. So when you feel like if you find somebody new in this year, or recently, I feel like this is going to be much more recently, maybe in the next like 5 months or so, 6 months, that if you can check the astrology. I'm just picking that up intuitively. But if you meet somebody and you start to feel that like juggling, it could even be like you're juggling your job and your relationship. And if you feel like that, what you should do is sit down. You already talked about manifesting. Write down, what do I want to manifest?
Okay.
I want to be able to be at my job because this is what I love here, but I also want to be able to be at my relationship, be at my relationship because this is what I love here. And what we were just talking about, like you indulging in the Aries part of you at your job where you get to be really masculine and take charge, and then be really feminine in your relationship. That's where the balancing act will probably start to happen. And you can do it in a way where the Magician is like, I take control of my life and I make it happen. I do my manifestational work. So that would be the guidance for that.
This is the last one is the Magician?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think that's a beautiful one too.
Yeah. So when you say new, you mean like not maybe someone that I'm like
whoever you have in your head.
Yeah, this is new. The Page of Wands is a new person.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dang.
And I'd say either.
Let me
like,
get the block button right.
It's gonna move quick, and
Yeah.
it's gonna move so quick that you're gonna be like, oh my God, how do I juggle this and my job? And like what's going on? So just like get settled and get into what do I want to manifest? What's my intention here? And that'll help you get really clear about what you want here.
New business idea. I think we need to get our faces on tarot.
Yeah.
So I'm like, the Magician looks cool as shit.
Well, this is a beautiful day.
So I'm like, I could be a magician with
So what were you?
The 9 of J's.
You stupid. You're dumb.
The 9 of J's.
He's always thinking business.
I like that.
I love that.
You were pulling up something.
Waterized tarot cards?
Doing that.
The Ace of Gelato. I've been saying gelato a lot. I don't know what's going on.
We were just talking about gelato.
I know.
Yeah,
it could work.
So I was saying, for you, what we're seeing time frame wise is beginning of spring or the end,
so
beginning
5
of
months,
summer.
5-6 months.
So I can have fun with who I'm having fun with now, and then know around spring and summer.
Right around your birthday.
Well, I think just being intentional about it right now, like just think about
if it's intentional fun.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Am I okay still dating? Right? Like, of course.
Don't stop dating.
Don't wait around. Don't wait for that.
I made that mistake, and your vagina will dry up really quick.
Yeah, don't sit around and wait for it. But
however,
you'll recognize it when it comes. Like
I'll know.
It. Yeah, but I think right now you could get to this, like the Magician point where you're like, the conversation is really brought up where you want to be able to be really in your business and really in your masculine of like creating and I'm taking charge, but you also want to start to nurture the feminine side of like, how do I want my relationship to fulfill me? But you also like, you're the kind of woman that you cannot leave everything for your man.
But I was just gonna say, I'm also a giver. Pause. So I
wasn't gonna say anything.
But I like to love on someone. And I like
that's
to
the feminine that you can do in a relationship.
Okay.
But you can't leave who you are in this business world and what you love to do. That like you got to still be that. You got to be strong in that and not abandon who you are, and know that what you want is a man that fits in with your life and can work with that. Like can work with the balance. Like I'm going to let you go and do your thing because that's your thing. And then when you come home, I'm going to be here with open arms.
Yeah. Got you.
And, you know, so just think
Dinner's
about that.
on the table.
Yeah. Now's a good time to think about that.
I can leave.
Right?
You can wrap it up?
2020.
Yeah.
We're good.
We want to take a break first and then come back and do me?
Whatever you want.
All right, we'll do that.
I like what you're putting down there.
Yeah, I mean,
right.
let's take a little break, little breather, drink some water.
Let's not lose focus.
Let's
I'm still looking for Jay to get a permanent person on our roster.
Let's get nourished, real quick. We're going to take a little break.
You're not fulfilled right now? I'm feeling fulfilled.
I love it. I'm happy for you.
Feeling good.
I'm happy for my friends.
I need an accountability partner, though, so throughout the year.
I got you.
Don't
I always, though?
You do.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
We're going to take a little break. We'll be right back.
All right, everybody. We are back, and you guys, the behind the scenes are just amazing.
It's cooking.
Right now. It's cooking. This was a great show to start off
Thank
the year
you.
with, right?
I know I was here for a reason.
I'm feeling good. I'm refreshed. I'm like, love, here I come.
Yeah.
And then it's like my year of career and expansion.
You got the crib. You know what I mean?
I'm feeling good.
Yeah.
But
good.
now this is about you.
Uh-oh.
All right.
Okay.
We're on to you. And,
you
I have my own thing that I want for you in 2020.
We could do whatever she did. You could do for me. It's fine.
Okay.
You okay with that?
Yeah, that's fine.
But you can add on if you want to.
Let me share what's coming through. Okay. And then with
August 4th, 1985. I think I was born around noon.
Obama's birthday.
Yeah, I already pulled it up.
I'm just letting the viewers know.
Oh, in case they want to look up your chart.
Yeah.
And follow along.
Yeah.
He just put it out there, ladies.
It's a very Leo thing.
Yeah, it is a very Leo thing.
You're welcome.
Oh, God, I forgot you're a Leo.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Shout out to Barack, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's a cool dude.
Me and Barry are like
cool
close.
Lion. Yeah. We like him in the clan.
Yeah.
So what we got for the gentleman over here?
So this is what I would say first of all, and this is what was coming through in the green room, which I was like, I'll wait. You're very, so it's like in your everyday life, like you are independent. You like to be able to have a handle on everything that you like to do, like very like driven, very independent, very innovative.
Very true.
Very much the type of person that's like, I want to be the first kind of in this field and I want to take it to new places. And then eventually you'll get bored and then be like, where can I take this next? So you don't have, like, sometimes you might feel like, oh, do I have like ADD? Can I not see things through? It's not that you don't see things through. It's just that you're always like, okay, I'm good on that.
Yeah.
What's next?
For sure.
What can
Evolving.
I, like, right?
Cuba Libre.
Yeah. So, totally. There you have
I
it.
left Cuba Libre last year.
Good for you.
Yeah.
No more. Yeah, nobody wants to go to Cuba Libre.
Yeah.
Good.
Except when I'm hosting there sometimes, like New Year's Eve.
I'm about to say when you get in a chat.
You should definitely go. It was lit.
So that's very much how you live your life, and that's how you see it, and that's your joy, right?
Sure.
Like you are like driven by your passions, and then when it comes to relationships, it's a little bit different. So like when someone's dating you, they get you when they're with you in the room. When they're with you in the room, you are tender and you are listening and you are here for them.
I can believe,
you're blushing a little bit,
so I
think that's true. Like when it's one-on-one.
Oh, for sure.
That's what I mean. When I say
sure.
they're in your room, one-on-one.
Yeah,
when it's just you and them.
I agree 100%.
No one else is around.
Yeah.
They get a
side.
side.
I'm bae as fuck.
He like, hey girl.
They get a side of you that nobody else can see. But then the problem is once you leave that room,
Yeah.
you're back out being the driven,
Correct.
doing my thing. And I think that's where there's an issue a lot of times with relationships because they're confused and even like you don't even realize that you do that. Like it's not even like you're intentionally being like, I'm giving you my all when we're together.
Preach.
And then when I leave, right? But that's something I do want you to be more mindful of and realize that you are very different in that way.
Actually,
very polar.
A couple of years ago, I was talking to someone, and that was the reason why she didn't want to like continue with it because I'm such a social person and I have a lot of female friends and whatever. She just couldn't handle it. So I was like, I mean, that's just me though.
It is just you, but at the same time, it's something that you want to reassure that person that you're with.
For sure.
Like, you know, making sure that you're really
I'm still
aware.
Here,
I'm still here, and like the way I feel about you doesn't change when I leave this room, but you know, I do get hyper focused on my work, on social experiences, whatever that may be.
Something you can work on.
Something you can work on.
It's so true, though.
It's very true. But what I will say, I don't know if like a serious relationship is going to come anytime soon per se.
That makes sense.
But I could see the end of this year moving into 2021.
Okay.
I feel like there's going to be a shift, and you're going to start to. I think that's when you're going to actually open up to the idea of partnership, because this is the thing. I'm being completely honest. If you're not on board with the idea of partnership the way you're on board with a new job idea, it's just not going to happen.
That's 100%. I
can respect that. I can respect that because I'm with Jay a good amount of the time, and he's so motivated about like us expanding and what we're doing here and other aspects of his life. He really doesn't have time. You know, I mean, and
you're not making the time. You don't want to make the
he does,
time.
But that's
you
what I'm saying. He doesn't
time.
really want to, and that's not fair to anybody.
It's not, and it's totally not.
It's or it just needs to be communicated.
Right.
If you're seeing someone, let them know like this is really all I can offer.
Yeah.
If you're being, and I need you to be honest with me if that's okay.
Yeah.
If it's not, then this probably isn't going to be a fit for us.
Right.
I get like part-time relationship vibes.
Totally part-time
for
relationship
sure.
vibes. But I do think later in the year, early 2021, there's going to be a green light.
Okay.
That kind of like. I think partnership sounds like a good idea. I don't know.
I can go with that.
That's what I see based on that.
Thank you.
Kind of let Dee follow up on that.
Okay.
Wait a minute. I just pulled the death card, and you said, "Am I gonna die?"
Oh shit!
That's not necessarily what that means,
No,
right?
it's not. But
That's funny.
It's funny
No, but-
because I said when you said, "Am I gonna die this year?" I said, "Let me see."
Yo, that is wild, though.
Because a part of you feels like a relationship is the death of who you are.
Yeah, it's a death of something to me, for
okay,
sure.
okay,
Like I feel like
So
got to go in order to get, for sure.
That's interesting because as you're speaking, the cards are speaking what you're speaking. So
Okay.
death is about transformation.
Yeah.
So it sounded like what you were saying. It's kind of like maybe you'll go through these relationships that aren't fulfilling, and something will happen in life where you're like, okay, like I've changed. I'm ready for it. So something's got to transform. But you also got the High Priestess. So the High Priestess is about really coming in alignment spiritually. So I feel like there's going to be something, not that like, it might not be something like you're going to find God, but you will find yourself a little bit more. Like you will find more alignment with like soul purpose kind of a thing. Whether
That's
you call
so
it that or
interesting you
not,
say that.
Like a deeper sense of what's important to you.
Yeah,
For
exactly.
sure.
Like this is what deep within me really wants, and that whatever
That's
that
very
transformation
interesting.
is going to bring you there. And then, as you were saying, like I might be done. I'm gonna like get rid of this or whatever. You got the Six of Swords. So the Six of Swords is like I'm gonna walk away from all the stuff I used to do, like all the people I used to date. And it's also the Six of Swords is about walking away, but it's also like receiving help. So it could be, let me pull one more card. It could be that like, I don't know, like you meet, okay, well. So this is the Ace of Pentacles, which is in alignment with, it's basically like spiritual abundance or like divine abundance. So you doing what is in alignment for you is basically going to get you paid. And something in correlation, right?
It's almost like the collaboration and the partnership are going to be together. Like work and
like
love.
you might date somebody that is to do with your job. And I get this sense with this
kind of always
Six of
wanted
Swords,
that, to be honest.
Yeah,
I always talk about
it'll
that.
work for you though, right? It makes
Right.
sense. With this Six of Swords, I just feel like the type of women that you're interested in now, because you are still attracted to these women. That's where the transformation is going to make you not attracted to these kind of women anymore. That's what you're going to walk away from. And you're going to be like, no, that's not my thing. And you're going to be like, oh, there's this whole other type of woman. Oh, that actually like works perfect for me, kind of a thing.
I'm with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're going to say something?
No.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. Why? What's going on?
No, because
the death card is funny, isn't it? Like
no, that's
shit like that happens all
not a
the
coincidence.
time.
That's not a coincidence.
Not. It never is.
No,
it is. Like that was source
qualifying.
telling you this shit is real.
So
that's what that was.
I feel like
He's
and
cracking up.
I've been doing the kind of the grunt work the last couple of years, but I feel like this year was going to be, as far as career wise, like the year to really push my brand, my personal brand, on top of being collaborated with Water Ice and my game show stuff.
Don't worry, it's not going anywhere.
I know. He's
No,
like,
I've always wanted to just kind of come together, but
but really aligned for you.
Yeah,
really like destiny.
I got my logo last year. I'm actually working on a website, and I've been getting hosting gigs.
Good.
Like Hair of the
that
Dog
is gonna
coming
be that's gonna be lucrative.
Yeah. So that was kind of like for me so every year I have a mantra with me, my mentor. And every year it's like a different one. So this year it was P&G, which is Play No Games, and that was basically what it was.
And that's
also,
transformation.
Love doesn't have to slow that down. Because I think there's a belief inside of you that believes that love will just distract me and take away, where actually what this is showing is that it could heighten the whole thing and make it even more expensive.
I really get the sense, and
lucrative.
I really get the sense that you're just dating the wrong women, but you are still interested in those women.
For sure.
So,
I can see that 100%.
Yeah, like whatever, something will happen that will kind of wake you up out of that. And maybe it will have to do with like, oh, this is what I was supposed to be doing.
Yeah. No, I definitely see that.
This is what makes sense for me. And you, like, I love this card. Such a beautiful card. Right. You could even meet a woman that's like so in her game, and you're like,
that's what I want.
I know. That's
like I've never.
Isn't that what we all want?
Like,
no.
Like, what is? Yeah, but there's a lot of men that don't. A lot of men that just want their, like, some men just want a woman that's needy.
Oh no! I need you to make your own money too.
Like, exactly. And
let's build together.
Right. Like I need you to be busy.
Like,
in a good way.
She's like in her. She's in her power. She's in her divine feminine.
She's like, I got this.
Word.
And it's almost like you could see her and be like, oh, that's
new.
Let me just
almost
get rid of
almost
all
a little
the rest
intimidated in a way. Almost
no,
like,
I've always been attracted
to that.
Turned on, like,
right?
Intimidated but turned on.
I've always been attracted to that. Like, like I want them to have their own life, their own thing, and then us come together and build.
Yeah.
Which is why it would make sense another year from now that would really be more tangible.
Okay. I'm okay with that.
I love it.
I'm okay with that.
I mean, maybe not.
You gotta like shake off the old ones. Like shake off that.
They're still texting you.
Yes, they are.
And you're still answering.
Yes, I am.
You are.
So, question really quick. With the cards. So the cards are never always going to come up the same, correct?
What do you mean?
So, like, if you pulled cards, if you pull if we did me again, you pull the cards and different cards would come up.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to pull the same cards from before. So that transition.
Sometimes I could.
Might.
Sometimes you do. Yeah.
Oh, sometimes you do. Okay. Yeah. And does that mean like that's really speaking to you at that point in time?
Yes. Yeah.
And then if there's something different the next time, it's a transition. So I said that because it's like, let's say I wouldn't come to you a week from now and say, can you pull my cards again?
I wouldn't do that.
Okay, that's
same.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's the problem with psychics that we were talking about before. Some psychics will say, come back and see me in a week because
you need
they're trying to get that bread. Let's be real, it's a business.
But a true reader or someone that's tapped in as a spiritual teacher will honor the process and say, no, like, here's your reading. Go live this out.
Yeah, you gotta let it breathe.
Yeah, and in my opinion, somebody who's really guiding you and is here for your best self is always going to guide you back to you. Like, I feel like that we just naturally do that and say, like, you want to follow your own guidance. Like, that's what, so it's always for me about empowering you and what you've already got within you and bringing it back to you. So for you, it was like, Lauren, it was, sit down and write down what you want. And for you, it was like, follow what's solely aligned for you. So for me, it's like I'm dropping that seed of when that moment comes to you, you go, oh, I remember that. And my answer is to follow my guidance. Okay. So somebody that says, oh, you need to come back because I know more than you. It's toxic is what it is. It's like, and here's the thing. You can be psychic and toxic. Yeah. Like it's your job.
We are still humans.
You can be a witch and toxic and you can be a witch and healed.
It basically means like you're putting yourself at mercy to somebody else.
Is that the Two of Swords?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I pulled when you were saying all that. And that's just basically saying, like, don't put yourself at the mercy of others.
Okay.
Yeah. Because that's what happens is people start to...
People are gullible AF.
Yeah.
And,
yes, they are.
Listen, here's the thing that I've been getting the most, and I really, like, being a witch and a tarot reader and a coach, I really wanted... This is like a PSA for people. I get emails that are like, there's this witch. Like, your services are expensive, but... There's this witch, and she's like $60. She's going to do a quick spell for me, but I don't really trust her. I don't really know. Can you tell me if she's good? Like, can you tell me if this is safe for me? And I'm like, the fact that you wrote this email and you don't trust somebody.
Yeah.
My services cost money because
people
you get what you pay for, though.
They want
exactly.
it so
you get
bad,
what you pay
and they
for.
don't want to do the work themselves. That's what happens a lot of times. People are...
And then they get screwed.
Yeah. They just want the spell to happen overnight. They want a quick fix. I mean, we all want that in some way. We say diet culture. Like, we look at so many cultures where it's like, oh, I'll sign up for this gym, or I'll sign up for this, or I'll sign up for that.
We want it to be the answer for us.
Instant gratification.
We're all looking for the Holy Grail.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I try to, the Holy Grail is in you, and you're going to have to do the work.
Yes.
And that's what I'm always going to tell you.
So I'm going to flip it to them. Like, what do the cards say for y'all as far as
we pull cards for us all the time.
As far as like what we talked about for us.
Go ahead.
Yeah, like.
Well, how about this? Do you want to? Maybe you could do a little thing of astrology for me, and I could pull cards for you.
Sure, we can do that.
That might be a little easier. Because I mean, we pull cards for ourselves and look up our own astrology all the time.
Okay.
But I'd be interested in your take.
Yeah. What are we asking about? Are we asking about love? Oh,
let's do love. Yeah.
We're going to put it right out there.
Yeah. Why not? Our business is out there.
I know.
I heard you say something about your baby daddy.
No, baby daddy is off the table.
Okay.
We ain't talking about baby daddy. You better not show up in this meeting.
It's his face in the card.
I just had two. Are you the 20th?
This is for me, though. Yeah.
20th?
6/20/85. Okay.
85. What's the time?
1:18 p.m.
See how precise we are over here?
Yeah.
I'm 5'4".
Darby, Pennsylvania.
You're 5'4".
5.
You said June 25th?
5'4".
Yeah,
June
but we
20th.
like know
June
that.
20th. My brother's June 18th.
Gemini. Gemini and Aries. Oh.
My oldest brother is a Gemini. My youngest brother is a Pisces, March 18th. And my sister is on the cusp. She's July 23rd.
Do you get along with the Pisces the most?
So she's Cancer. So you don't get along with your sisters, huh?
So
you make her real sensitive. Like
I do.
Well, Cancers. I mean, this is just off the sun sign.
Yeah.
But like, she's probably more like sometimes reserved, goes back into her shell on the outside.
On the outside.
Yeah.
So my mom just told me on the phone we were all born in the morning. All of her kids were born in the morning.
Cool.
Are me and the Pisces the closest? Me and Malcolm are pretty close. He's he's the baby, and me and him are 10 years apart. And he is like my baby.
Yeah.
And it's funny.
So then the oldest you probably Gemini and Aries, like, you have a lot of fun together, but you can also get each other riled up, like start.
Me and Malik.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we just fought the other day.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a Gemini, baby.
I can definitely see that with Malik.
Me and my older brother just fought the other day. But I was very close to him as a kid. We always. My mom said she couldn't.
So am I like?
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. No, you're fine.
Go ahead. Finish what you're saying.
No, my mama just said that she couldn't get me from underneath my brother. Like, I was always with him all the time. That's who got me into sports and stuff like that. Like music. We bounce a lot of stuff off of each other. But when we are like this, we are like this. Me and my sister, I will be very honest about this. We did not have a good relationship in the beginning. Yeah. As adults, we've become really good friends. Yeah. But when we're all actually, my mom had a kid in every decade. So
that's like me. I'm gonna have a kid in every decade.
Yeah.
My kids are 11 years apart.
My sister.
Have more. You tell me. Am I gonna have more?
You could if you want.
We basically we're all like 10 years apart, like kind of sorta. Yeah. So we became really good friends as adults, and especially when she had children and I became an aunt. Like, her kids are my kids, and and she doesn't. If she trusts anybody with her kids, it's me, and I think her kids brought us very close together.
Yeah, because the Cancers, we love the homie. So I have a lot of Cancer. I'm a Gemini, but I have a lot of Cancer in my chart.
You have a lot of similarities in your charts because you're only like 2 months apart.
Yeah.
Or
And
like
my daughter has the same birthday, and we're both Libra rising too. We just discovered.
How many kids do you have?
I have 2. I have a 15-year-old and almost 4-year-old.
Right.
Yes.
Witchcraft, my friend.
I don't. She just said that
she's really 65.
What?
I was really immortal.
Yeah. I did not know you were going to say that. Yeah. You look good.
Thank you.
Yeah, all right. So another.
Almost 4-year-old.
So you want to do her?
Oh, I just pulled George. Who wants to go first?
Yeah,
you should. These cards,
This is for Danielle.
No, I think this is good though.
This is love, right?
Yeah.
You're talking about love? Okay, go ahead.
So I
gotta pull two more though.
Okay.
Is the first card like what I'm up?
We just ended in the Lover's card and the Soulmate card.
Aww.
We
started off with the Devil card.
So do I need to stop?
It's a rough road.
The devil. I mean, I know
he's the Devil card, which is just ego. It's just like toxic patterns, that might still be in the relationship. But we got death.
Are you believing that my egoic views on the relationship or the person I'm?
Right.
No, I think that this is you, and of course that's going to show.
It will be a reflection in anyone I'm seeing.
But you got it with the Death card, so I feel like that's ending abruptly.
Yeah.
It's ending abruptly. And you got it with the Justice card.
Can we have one more devil trice?
It feels to me like that was karmic justice. Like that was just karma.
So just working its way out so I could get back to the place
because
that makes sense because
I like that.
I've been feeling that deep down.
Yeah. So that's just. I mean.
Yeah,
that's plain.
You got a big ego.
these are all major arcana cards. So this is so this is a major. They're all major arcana.
I like that.
They're all major arcana.
Let's
so
hope they have a big ego.
This is a major.
Hey-oh.
Is that a big ego, or are you just happy to see me?
No, it's a flashlight.
But it's prominent. So it's prominent for you in 2020.
Yes.
But then we got the Six of Cups, which in a love reading is the soulmate card.
Sure.
It is somebody that you connect with. It's almost like when you meet them, you feel like you've known them your whole life.
Aww.
You get that sense. Yeah, and then the Lover's card. I mean, I could cry. I'm so happy for you. That's a beautiful card. And I feel like it's plain as day. I feel like because we got such a clear reading, because you're such a clear person, so you're clear about who you are.
Right.
And that's it. I don't think
and
that's clear as shit.
Even
feels, I understand.
Right.
I'm like, okay.
That feels very immediate, whereas the other, that feels more second half. I mean,
this feels more. This actually feels to me just like the first 2 months of the year.
Yeah, and that feels more.
And then this feels more like summery.
Yeah,
vibes.
That's what I'm feeling.
I get the summer vibes from that card.
Yeah.
Out in the field.
But I love that you just pulled that.
I love that I just pulled that too.
I'm excited.
Whoa.
For you. That was really good. I swear I didn't plan that one.
Of course you did.
I saw you shuffle
the
cards
next 2
over
months
there.
we're gonna talk.
I know. I'm gonna need you on speed dial.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I just better use protection.
Double part. Yes, exactly.
That's what that's telling me. Get tested.
I
can't. Yeah. Go to the free clinic, Danielle.
I love it.
All right.
All right, so now we're switching.
Okay, so we're switching.
Very vulnerable, isn't it, for the readers to be read right in public?
It is. It can be, but I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I love it. Your turn.
And honestly,
like,
love
turn it
feels
back
less
on you
vulnerable
guys.
in some ways.
For
It's almost
you?
like, don't get into my business.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm all up in it. Let's go.
So for you, it's interesting. So this is what I'm seeing with your trends right now. Like, big transformation last month with being like clear as F about what you're looking for and what you're not looking for. And if anything, that's just going to filter out a little bit more this month. This month is really still like clearing it out and just owning your power and who you are and what you're standing up for and what you're showing up for when it comes to love. Yeah. And then further, it's more about like, what do I have to do for my family? You're really setting your family up in the foundation in a way that like is going to be very prevalent all year long, pretty much until like November. Wow. Like the trend is just like, what do I have to do to take care of myself, take care of my family, and grow it and expand it in a way that's like exciting for us and feels really good and makes you feel like you're able to support who you are through what you do in a way that's like really nourishing and nurturing. And it's from that place that like deeper love comes through, right? And so I think for right now, it's like about like you like standing up to who you are. And then from there, also what I'm finding is as you show up as the role of kind of like this gorgeous like goddess breadwinner, so to speak, you start to kind of take on more of a goddess presence yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
Right?
Okay.
So so it's almost like what's happening is like you are going to kind of be
Say it.
Well, what I see is like, you know, you walk into a room and like it's always that case that you walk into a room and people notice, but it's like now you walk into the room and people notice you as even like more like just like she's here for it. And I
think
like,
if I feel supported, like if I can support myself, I can open up.
Yes. Whereas you haven't been feeling that way because of what you needed to clear out. Yeah. And now that you've cleared out that stuff, you can be in a space now where like I'm supported, I'm taken care of because of what I have
make
brought.
My money.
I can make my money
and move on.
And as I make my money, I am kind of and then when I say untouchable, I mean it in a really beautiful way, right? Where it's just like I'm so open, I'm so fresh, and I'm so giving to the world. I'm able to give to the world in a way that I haven't in a while because I was so dependent on that outer expectation of what being taken care of is, right? Exactly. And it's from that place that you draw in someone else, and that person that you draw in, it's very long term, like very long.
Yeah, it better be because I ain't gonna accept anything. I'm good on all that.
Lots of long term, and I wouldn't be surprised if you start getting like little teasers. Here's what I think is gonna happen. I feel like there's someone that comes through in the spring, but it's not actualized or realized till like the fall, and then when you like look back, you're like, of course,
oh shit,
like
that
I like
sense.
that.
That seems like it's the only way in for me. Like I'm not gonna just date traditionally.
No,
it's gonna need to be somebody who's like sits and simmers.
It's
for
like
a while.
It's a little bit of the long game.
Yeah,
I feel like the long game,
which
and then come fall. Yeah, like October, November.
Yeah.
I'm
October, November.
Quiet.
Yeah.
I can wait for that.
We're gonna have tarot parties.
I know,
That's
right?
what I say. When you have your deck launch.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
We should definitely
when
do
you
it.
were reading him, like on his chart, that he like is always on to the next thing, I was like, is that the tarot deck he's gonna make?
Yeah.
That's the next venture.
Probably.
Yeah, could be.
I'm down.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Before we go to break, you spoke about energy.
Yeah.
Right. Like you can feel other people's energy.
Yeah.
All right. So be honest. What was the energy that you felt from me and Jay? Not even in this setting, but when you
the first time.
Yeah. Well,
if you remember from the party.
Okay. So now we already knew that we were coming into here, so there was some of my shit was here, right? So I knew that like we were gonna have to kind of defend ourselves a little bit, or like I went through that, so that's my shit. You know, but as soon as we sat down, and of course as soon as we met you guys, there is this, like, I can sense that you guys have known each other for a long time. There's a sense of just like love and family. It is very nurturing.
She's like my sis.
Yeah, it's very nurturing. But you also made us feel like that. Like I think that's the energy that I've gotten from day one. That it feels like. I feel like the picture I'm getting is like of a barbecue. Like I feel like we could come to a barbecue with you guys, and just like
you come to our barbecue.
Yeah, that's what I feel. Like, do you guys have a barbecue?
You come to our cookout.
Yeah.
See,
Miss Lorna will cook. Her mom could cook. So.
We're always like, who will we invite to the cookout?
Yeah. Okay. So you do have a cookout. Yeah. Exactly.
That is good.
That's what I see. I see like
because I'm very big on energy.
Like yeah.
But I'm big on it that I don't want to give off the wrong energy to people. You know what I mean?
You have a presence. I definitely felt like when I met you, you had a presence. You knew who you were. You knew what you stood for, and that was that.
It's a like loving presence.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Definitely. It's not intimidating.
Yeah. It feels like, you know, like a family member's like, you know, I love you, but I'm gonna be real with you, kind of a thing. Like I get that vibe.
Yeah.
Like I just get that that's what comes off of you, not just with people who are your family, but that's
keeps
just,
it 100.
Yeah.
And I think that this is your realm, so you're creating this energy, and that's important to you. So maybe you're not like that with everybody everywhere.
No, there's a lot of integrity.
Exactly. Integrity.
I am not like that with everybody. Actually, I think I'm a little introverted in certain things.
Yeah.
Like they make fun of me all the time. They call me grandmom. I'm the grandmom of the group because I actually don't like to go out to events. It's very, honestly, it's very
struggle.
So you are an empath.
I was just gonna say, I'm like, wait a minute.
Exactly. Well, she started talking about it, and I was like, I know you're an empath.
We'll
talk after the show.
It's very awkward for me. Like when I'm in a room or like in a social event, he's like, all right, I'll see y'all later, and he goes
very
right.
Extrovert.
And I'm more like, but where are you going?
Yeah.
I'm very like
I'm a little bit of both. So when I have to get on stage, like I feel everybody's nerves. I feel everybody's expectations of me. It's a lot. So what's important for you is to have a ritual of cleansing your energy. I can give you a few tips or whatever, but like just having a ritual of cleansing your energy and setting your intention. Who do you want to be and how do you want to feel going into this? Like a segment intending thing. So you're going to intend, I'm going to this party. This is how I want to feel. And also just like setting up a boundary. You could just imagine a big, beautiful bubble of white light around you, and you can bring in, so you're Christian, so you can bring in Jesus, you can bring in Mother Mary, you can bring in archangels, and you know, Archangel Michael is a great one for people when you're
he's got a sword.
He has a sword
it's very
that
badass.
he can cut. Yeah. That was not a sexual thing either.
No, I actually did not mean that.
Sword. It's the way you said it. He's
sword.
And he's packing.
In the Bible, Archangel Michael is like super hot. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, anyway. In my visions, he's
we just took that to a whole nother thing. But if you feel other people's energies and you're like on a bind, you can say, Archangel Michael, can you cut this person, like cut the cord between me and them? And just like, this is a time to bring prayer and your spirituality into everything you do.
So that's blowing me right now, because tomorrow it is blowing me. I mean, pause, but it's blowing me right now. I'm going into a 21-day of prayer and fasting with my church.
Perfect.
And prayer has been last year. Prayer was like such a big thing. Yeah. I mean, trying to clear my mind just to be able to be in the same spot all the time. Kind of like meditation and prayer are like
kind of the same 100%.
Thing. Absolutely. It's just having a conversation with God.
Yeah, I was going to say, I look at prayer as the ask and meditation as the listen.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah. But when you said prayer, that was like bing for me, because me and my cousin Mallory, we were just talking about that over the weekend because we're both doing it together. We go to the same church. And I was like, are you nervous? Now she is like, yeah, I'm nervous. I was like, I've never done any type of fasting before.
Are you doing a full fast or just a fast of certain things?
The Danielle fast. So, well, today actually, the pastor that we follow, he didn't say you have to do fasting is something that you like, to give up something that you like so you can receive something in abundance. So people think it's a sacrifice. So people think, oh, I'm just going to give up chocolate, but if you don't like chocolate, then it's not really
matter to
a
you.
fast.
It has to be pure-hearted.
Ash Wednesday, the whole Lent.
So what's
Lent, just like Lent.
So I'm
have fish on Fridays.
I thought about doing the Danielle fast, which is like a lot of like sweets and carbs and stuff like that, but in meat too. So, but I'm not gonna like kill myself because it's my first one.
Again, we were talking about that indulgent stuff, right? Like you still want to feel excited and feel like what this fast that I'm doing is real. This is what I'm fasting away from, right? And that feels really exciting to me. But this is what I'm calling in because this is giving me nutrients in this way, and this is giving me
just
nourishment.
Intuitively, what I'm getting to, the first thing that said to me that I just heard is, God gives you permission to have what you want, to give up something that's not good for you that you want. So something that you like. Maybe chocolate is bad for you and you love chocolate. Maybe you drink a lot and you know that drinking is bad for you. Maybe you smoke. Give up something that you know is not soul aligned.
So I know
you desire.
So like medically, I do have a thyroid condition, and I know something that harms as far as food is concerned are heavy starches. And like caffeine, like soda, and I call soda for me the liquid crack.
I fucking love
soda.
I
love
it right there.
I'm like I can drink a 2-liter ginger ale every day and be okay.
So bad. I love
soda.
That sounds like that's what it should be.
I'm gonna give
my life changed when I gave up soda.
I was like, I'm gonna give up soda and like heavy starches, so like maybe like potatoes or lots of pasta, snacks.
And what are you
replacing?
Like a
pretzel person.
So in place of the soda, in place of the starches,
water.
What are you bringing
something that fulfills you, something that's
still exciting.
Your cards, you got the 9 of Cups, so it's got to be satisfying to you still. Right. And okay, let's ask yourself, what would God have you do? Like, what do you think God would have you indulge in a spiritually aligned way?
And like consuming like food wise?
Yeah, instead of
whatever.
So like
to replenish you. Replenish is the word that's coming.
So like like fruits. I love fruits because they still have a
indulgent. I love
so
it.
they still have a sweetness about it. They still have a sweetness about it.
Nutrients.
So
have them with like yogurt.
Yeah. So it's like it's still sweet, but it's still good.
I love that.
So you know what I mean. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go to Produce Junction
too. Like tea kept coming through, like iced tea, ginger tea.
And you know, I'm
a little ginger tea with honey. You got yourself some ginger ale, my friend.
There you go.
Damn, there you go. I like that.
Yeah, and the biggest piece for me was the prayer piece and the meditation and the prayer piece because I feel like I'm so on the go. I never had that 10 or 20 minutes or whatever of just silence and just, you know, speaking to myself, speaking to God and stuff like that. So being diligent with that every day it's like a really good thing because, you know, people always are like, well, you really think God like speaks to you and you hear this voice and says, Glarn, do this.
And it's never. The sky doesn't open up.
No, the sky doesn't open up, right? I'm just like,
this.
all right, you tripping. Like, no, that's not how it is.
That's how y'all's God sounds?
Right. Right. No. But I do feel like when I was in a place of, especially with, my only goal last year was to buy a house from the beginning of the year, and it happened at the very end of the year.
And congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. And I did a lot of alone time and a lot of silent time and a lot of what I like to call just me and God time, like talking through like, hey,
I called a date with God.
Yeah.
A little date with God.
I was like, am I doing this hastily? Am I doing this the right way? And at one point, something happened that made me stop. And I felt like that was God saying, not right now. Yeah. You're looking at all these houses and you think you're going to do it and you're going to rush into it. But something happened that made me have to stop and cut it off.
I remember that.
And then something else opened up where it was like, start getting back on track. And it came right when it was like, even my house thing. I had seen a house a week before I found my house and I put in an offer right away. Yeah. And the guy was like, well, I want to know what she does for a living. Like they were asking all these like weird questions. Yeah. And I was so pissed. And I was like, I didn't get the offer. Yeah. And I told one of my best friends, I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. I was like, I'll start fresh in 2020. And she called me the next day and was like, I know you said you're going to stop, but I saw this house. She's like, just look at it. Because we both had our alerts on. Yeah. And I went. And before I walked in the door, my realtor was like, "You're going to love this house." And as soon as I stepped in through the threshold, I was like, "This is home."
Yeah.
And I was just like,
Amazing.
I really didn't have to even.
What do you think that the lesson for you in that whole experience would be?
So I think the experience was that instead of trying, I think I was trying to hear this like actual godly sound in my ear telling me to do something, but really it was those like you said, those practical things. Yeah. Things were showing up in signs, and things were happening, and those were my answers that I was really looking for.
It wasn't just a one lightning strike moment.
Mm-hmm.
It was a buildup of different things, and you were paying attention,
and
you were open,
eyes open,
and then you put it all together.
If God really did talk to you like that, you would recognize that as like the devil, not God. You'd be like, that ain't God. That would scare the crap out of you. So God's not going to talk to you like that.
And then and the manifestation.
Talk
to your friends.
Through love, through things that feel good
and
to
writing,
you.
and like I was like writing things down on Post-it notes. Like I want this to happen, the manifestation thing, and if it wasn't right, I would take the Post-it note down and vision board and blah blah.
It was a process. But
I stand by vision boards.
It was a
witchcraft.
Yeah.
Really?
No, I get it.
Witchcraft.
I get it.
Oh shit!
I totally get
Oh
it.
shit! Really? Like,
especially because I'm a visual person, so I need to be able to like
Yeah.
even when we do our meetings, we gotta write shit out.
I have to ask this.
Yeah.
Because this is something that everyone has been telling me this is something that I should do.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't know. And I've been on the fence about it. Yeah. But everyone's been telling me I should write a book. Right? They're like, you should write a book. You should write a book.
Well,
No. It's not about writing a book. She needs to finish her book because she's already started.
I started. So I have a table of contents, and I did a couple chapters.
Yeah.
But I think my hesitation is that I'm like, well, who wants to hear this?
No, people want to hear it.
That's not the.
I think that during your 21-day fast is a great time to ask.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I like that. Darienne.
I was also going to say the fasting is really good for empaths, people that are sensitive to other people's energies, because you're detoxing. And also adding it with prayer, I just think really make it indulgent, like spiritually indulgent, really soulfully fulfilling to you, and make sure it's like that every step of the way.
And winter is a great time.
You shouldn't worry about what people want either, as far as like.
But I think that's a part of me being.
People don't know what they want until they see it.
Oftentimes, I would say like that's not. A lot of times when we say like who would read this or who cares, like that's not for you to focus on, right? Like you didn't get that idea.
But also being an empath has to be really hard. You're saying you think I may be I can kind of feel that because when my friends are down or things are really heavy on me or heavy on them, it's extremely hard. It's like extremely hard for me. Like I have a friend who's going through a really rough time in their relationship right now. Yeah. And sometimes it's so heavy for me that it sounds bad, but like I can't even answer the phone.
Sure.
Yeah. But you have to honor yourself in that. Do. So one of the hardest things for lessons for an empath to learn is to let people be in their own shit. It's so hard to do.
And we talked about that earlier, and I think that's part of also too what's holding you back a little bit in the relationship piece, right? Because you're
always taking care of people.
Right.
Always.
There it is, right there.
So
empath.
Empath. That's
All right, Jay's giving me the signal. I gotta stop.
Yeah, no.
All day long.
We're gonna do one more break.
3 hours later.
We're gonna do one more break. We can't do this all the time.
Yeah.
We're gonna do one more break, and then when we come back, maybe like a general 2020.
Sure.
Like,
Oh yeah.
You know, and then we'll go
you can
into
pull like
the
a power
back.
card too.
Yeah. Well, I've already been picking up lots of
Cool. And then we'll do your plugs where people can follow you. And then
we should have did Hector's cards.
Yeah, we should have.
The head honcho around here.
We'll be right back. All right, we're back. We're back. Going to wrap it up. We have Danielle and Darienne, and we've been talking about astrology, love,
could do this
witchcraft
all day long.
I knew you were gonna like
She's
it.
a convert
I
over
know.
here.
I love it.
When I pitched it to her, I was like, "Yo, we should have these ladies. I've been wanting them to have them on the show. What do you think?" And she was like, "Nah, I don't know." I was like, "But it's not what you think." And
I'm like, I'm going through a new spiritual journey. I don't need nothing coming up here.
No, but the reason why she said no was the reason why you need to be here. I was like, "Trust me, this it's not what you think." And
I
she
didn't
was
even.
like, "All right."
Okay.
I was like, just look it up for yourself.
But then I met you guys, and I was like, okay, yeah.
So we kind of want to wrap things up with kind of like a 2020, reading or however you want to say, like what's in store.
Sure.
And then we might do a little bonus for y'all's.
My Eagle fans?
Philadelphia Eagles fans.
E-A-G-L. Oh, I'm a little too early. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
But let's do like a 2020 overall.
Sure. So with 2020, some of the trends that we need to be mindful of is, here's the thing. I'm going to be really honest. We have a big year ahead of us as far as like political climate.
Obviously.
Things have been chaotic. And I'm going to be completely honest when I say a lot of that isn't going to change. It's going to be we're still going to see a lot of ups and downs within our collective.
It started January 2nd, like
war.
Yeah, it's unfortunately not ending anytime soon. However, one of the big themes that is coming through within that though is while our collective may still be chaotic, while a lot of things may not be coming to this like neutral, steady place, we have more awareness and more power within ourselves. And so while we may not be seeing the outcomes collectively that we'd like, we have the power this year to really focus on the individual things that we want, where we can step up to our own unique power, and from that place eventually the collective will start to catch up.
Right.
So it's like we can't, like, I think we're starting to get really exhausted. How can I help the collective, or how can we
there's so much going on?
Right, there's so much going on. Everything seems crazy. When is it going to end? Right? People keep saying, like, when is it going to be over? Well, it's going to be over when we all just kind of take a step back and say, what is it that I can do today?
Right. And cool. Who can I be?
Yes.
For the collective.
Truthfully.
But who can
honestly,
I be?
In integrity. And that's really what a lot of the 2020 trends are going to be showing us. So there's still going to be, and well, you'll share what your piece of it, but so there's kind of that piece of it. Also relationships are going to be at play a lot, especially come springtime. We have a Venus retrograde. It usually only happens every year and a half. So in Venus retrogrades, we're really going to be looking at our relationships, not just romantically, but partnerships in any kind of way. So really being open in the spring to looking at your relationships, looking at the people in your life and being like, is this still in integrity? Is it okay if this relationship has shifted? Or does this relationship need to grow, expand? Does it, or do I need to stop dragging my feet and get in already? So we're going to be noticing a lot of different shifts and changes in relationships come springtime. Summer is going to be interesting.
I love summer.
We have eclipses this year. We have 6 eclipses. Typically in a year we have about 4.
Whoa.
This year we have 6. We have 6 eclipses and all planets are retrograding. This is very rare that we have so much energy happening at once. And so on summer solstice, the first day of summer, we're going to have a new moon solar eclipse. And that's really going to activate a lot of change and really ask us to, again, redefine who we are, how we're showing up, what our power is, and what we're here to stand for. And then that energy is going to keep moving through for the next 2 weeks until Independence Day, which is really interesting. There's a lot of shifts happening on July 4th as well. It's kind of like, it's going to be like Independence Day, the movie.
Aliens?
Yeah. Anything that'll get me Jeff Goldblum. I have such a weird crush on him.
I think it's, right? He has like a cult. There's a cult.
You got a crush on him too?
No, I don't, but there's a cult. I love how he dresses though.
I know, there's
that man could dress.
Oh, like when I saw him like in Jurassic Park when I was like 11, like my little, I was like, oh, who is this man?
There's a meme.
I know that meme. So anyway,
July 4th, people.
A lot of crazy stuff happening.
Will Smith.
Yeah, you'll be looking for Will Smith.
Like stay inside, a lot going on.
No, I mean, I'm
like,
just what I'm saying.
No cookout.
Like real aliens.
No, not really aliens, but really, there's going to be a lot of energy that day, which I think is interesting. So like, just notice, and that's a day too where it's like holiday. People are with
it's a Saturday
families.
too.
A
Friday.
It's like a Friday.
Yeah. So don't be afraid. Like if you need to be a little bit more inward that day, like don't feel like you have to be so. Like I think sometimes with holidays we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to like step up and be a certain way.
Yeah, I
Whereas
usually
like
step back.
Yeah, July 4th, don't be afraid to just like do your own thing, have your own like barbecue for the people you want to have.
Yeah.
And then
you hear that, Hector? We're not doing anything on July 4th.
We ain't doing shit.
So that's that window of like the first day of summer to July 4th. I just feel like it's going to be very saturated. I don't know what's going to happen essentially, but there's just something there. But then it starts to, and then I think just really the fall is just going to be kind of a new kind of awakening for us all. And it's really about, again, I can't say enough how much it is around who are you in all of this and realizing that you're not as tied to what you think you are and the rules and like the conditioning.
I like that.
I think we're really going to be coming out of our shell this year. Yeah. And so I see it in work, I see it in relationships, and I see it on a greater scale, especially in the United States within our political realm and us not being defined, because no matter what, we're never going to really agree with what we're seeing on the outside. Yeah. So why are we complying so hard? Yeah. And I think this is our year of defiance a little bit. So there may be some bitterness because of that. Okay. And that's why we just got to, own up to how everybody's having their own processes and how they're feeling, and really be in control of what makes the most sense for you. Really also getting more of a handle on your own self-care, right? Being more open to different kinds of healing. And I'm not saying that as a plug, I'm saying it as reality, right? Yeah. Like, what are the things that you need to do to really like step up into being the best version of yourself?
Everything.
Yeah. I mean, this is a new decade, and this is about like not just like new decade, new goals. This is like new decade and like fresh skin.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like recalibration.
I was just going to say, call me now.
Yeah. For your free decade 2020
Shout out to the
reading, Miss Danielle.
Shout out to the OG.
And then how do we end the year, like in the winter? And
so,
what that look like?
you know, I think ending the year, it's, you know, this will be the last like kind of like holidays where a lot's going on. I feel like the last few holiday seasons, they've been very loaded. I don't know if you've been feeling that. Whereas like this is the last of that. Actually, I was kind of looking ahead because I was curious. Like holidays going forward are going to be a lot lighter. But for this one, December is going to be about. Wait, hold on. I was just doing a December report yesterday on Friday. December is about, this is what we want for December. December is like redefining how you show up for family. So it's all about this notion of like, what does family in my new life, in this new dichotomy look like for me?
Okay.
Right? And like, how am I showing up in a way that's like innovative and just different? Yeah, redefining family.
I like that.
Yeah.
So you pull some
what
cards?
you got?
I did pull some cards, but I also have been picking up things just intuitively about the year. And the analogy that keeps coming to me is they're showing me everybody this was it on New Year's Eve, essentially. Everybody at a starting line, getting ready to go. And some people are going to hit the ground running in 2020, and some people are going to get trampled on. And we've already seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've already seen that.
Yeah.
I mean, really in a big way.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just telling Danielle, what I realize is the people who are, like, so we've got the Queen of Cups here and the King of Swords. King of Swords is people who are really clear about who they are and what they want. And Queen of Cups is spiritual fulfillment, like what really is soul aligned for me. So people that are in that realm, which I don't mean to be like, well, that's us, but like this is what we do for a living, is being spiritually aligned and making sure that that's where we are and conscious about it. And those are the ones that are going to be really abundant in 2020, and they're going to see. I kept saying like 2020, it feels like scales. So you're going to see whatever is on the inside is really going to show it's going to start matching on the outside. Like my soul alignment, I'm going to start seeing that, and everything that isn't soul aligned is going to stick out like a sore thumb. But I also feel really like we're going to be really supported. So it's also a 4-year in numerology. That really is about stability. Stability, it also is the marriage card. Like the 4 of Wands is the marriage card, and it talks a lot about stability. I did pull cards. When I pulled cards for the collective, I felt a lot of people might get married this year or be in really stable relationships. But yeah, I definitely feel that if you are clear about what you want and know what's soul aligned, fulfilling, following what's actually soulfully fulfilling for you, you will be so abundant and so supportive.
I love that word, abundant.
There's going to be a split. So I do feel that like the what I was saying is there's been mostly unconscious people in the world, and it's like the conscious people we're going to start to tip the scales, where it's like almost an even amount of consciously living people and unconsciously living people. Yeah. And it's just going to be the way it is. Yeah. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Totally. Which is really aligned a lot with it. And I think for those of us that are at the starting line, like running, I will say though, it's still a long game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
you still
one thing to remember, like it doesn't mean like you're
cross
going to be
country
an overnight.
is not a sprint relay.
It really is. Because sometimes it is a sprint and it's like
quick,
but not like this time.
No.
Not this time.
So
we were ready for it. Some people were like, yeah, we're ready for it. Some people were not.
So Hector wanted us to ask what were in the cards today for the Eagles, because it's a playoff.
At this point, they're the wild card game against the Seahawks. They're playing at home.
So Danielle has a tarot card that's the Philly tarot card deck, and it's so dope because it has all these Philly figures on it.
And you can't make this up.
She picked the card, and the card is the Justice card.
Yes.
Who's on this card?
What's his name? Jason Kelsey is on the card in the Mumbers thing when he was at the podium and when he won their Super Bowl.
So what does that mean?
Well, I mean, the fact that we pulled the card of an image of him winning the Super Bowl, I think. I mean, what else? What do you need me to tap into here?
Too. I don't want to be like they're gonna win, and then you don't know.
Show over.
And the fact that this is the Justice card, which is all about balance,
and they've had
fairness, getting what is rightfully deserved. So
I feel like I don't even know. I don't follow them at all, but if they haven't won in a while, then they'll definitely.
We had a really hard year. Like they're
currently on a streak. They're currently on a
streak. This is like ending. This is ending the karma.
Yeah.
That's nice. Cool
TBD, but I mean,
that could be a bad thing, though.
I think this is the only Eagles related card in the deck. I'm pretty sure this is the only Eagles card in the deck.
So
we saw so many like Eagles people. Well, of course the game.
Okay, right.
But we saw,
and we saw these people wearing Eagles
for some reason.
Like, why are these people?
Like, you've been wearing an Eagles shirt this whole time, and I didn't even notice it. But we had somebody stop us, and there was like an Eagles dude had a mullet.
And we kept making comments like, this is good.
Is
what's going to make them win.
That we do. Like,
no, we don't talk about sports.
I mean, I don't want to say I don't care about the Eagles, but
so I don't normally
because it makes the city happy, so we care.
Of course.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. I'm a Philly girl through and through.
Yeah.
So I don't normally say this, but this has been one of the easiest shows for us to do, like ever.
Sure.
Really? What made it easy?
Because
y'all are you had information.
You know your shit.
You know your stuff.
You guys, they were not like nervous. Like we could just talk to you guys. Like this didn't. Normally we interview a lot of people. This didn't feel like an interview. This felt like we're just sitting around.
But I also wanted to have you guys on since the day I met y'all. Like the first time I even saw y'all, I was like, they'd be good guests. But again, I wanted to be at a time where I felt like it was perfect.
Yeah.
Even though that doesn't make any sense, but I just felt like
timing
is everything.
Yeah.
And I do say that. And I do say this a lot. And I mean, sometimes I mean it, sometimes I don't. That, we were like, Dad, we should have them back. No, we need to have you guys back. Like mid-year.
I literally was going to say that.
In the summer.
Summer solstice.
Right before Independence Day.
Yeah.
Right before I find my husband.
Right before the aliens come. So where can they follow you guys? I know you're all over social media. Can you just go down the plug bag where you're all at?
The whole plug bag.
What's up with us today?
That's a weird one.
Somebody better be getting some later. That's the show.
Plug.
So Darienne Empire is spelled Darienne Empire. So I'm big on YouTube, but I also have Facebook, Instagram, and a website. So that's where you can find
Darienne Empire.
Yeah, I'm pretty easy. You can find literally. No. That's why I got the devil for it.
We can't get it. We can't stop.
Yourself.
So
comedians.
Daniel Mercurio is how you can find me. It's at DanielMercurio.com, Instagram Daniel Mercurio, and then I have a podcast as well called The Daniel Mercurio Show.
Just when I was like, y'all need a show. She has a show.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. So this was amazing. We want to thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Make sure you guys are tuned into Everything Water Ice Radio this year. We have a lot of big stuff coming up. Not just shows, guys, but events too.
Yes.
So we're going to be starting to integrate the shows with live events. Really excited about that. Maybe me and Jay will do our first live podcast.
Why not?
In 2020.
And you guys are going to come.
Yeah, you guys will be there. Also, shout out to the entire Water Ice Radio family. We have some new additions coming on as well. You guys will be really excited about those new podcasts. And shout out to the whole Water Ice family team.
Yes.
This should air before that. Jay?
Yeah.
You're hosting Hair of the Dog.
Very excited for that.
The most glamorous event in the city.
Very healthy. Yeah, it's going to be fun.
I was really excited for
Thank
you
you very
about
much.
that.
Very excited. It's going to be
January 18th at Noto. Slight plug right there. We're excited for that coming up as well. And just so much more. So stay tuned, everybody.
Yeah, I mean, it's the beginning of the year 2020, and it's perfect guest to start it off. Yeah. And we got a lot of things coming up, so make sure you're following us on all social media platforms, websites, all that good stuff. And we're just going to keep building for y'all.
All 20. We said all 19.
Playing no
19.
games.
But now, all 2020.
All 2020.
It's easier to say, too.
Yeah.
All 2020. We got y'all.
Right?
So one thing that hasn't changed is our motto.
That's
and
it.
You guys know what that is. Not all superheroes wear capes, but sometimes they wear headphones. See you guys later.
Peace.